What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome to Fresh Comic Stories. Guys, this is the channel where we basically sit down and cover different kinds of comic book stories. Now, guys, today we're going to jump back over to Marvel Comics and we are going to pick up once again with our Avengers reading order. Now, guys, today we pick up with New Avengers Volume 3. Who is Ronin? Now, guys, this storyline right here does introduce a new character to our basically Avengers reading order, but also we finally find out what is Spider-Woman's darkest secret. Who is she talking to when she's not around the Avengers? Guys, I do hope you like today's video, and if you do, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe for more comic book videos in the near future. But guys, let's dive into New Avengers Volume 3. To begin today's storyline, we pick up with the character Ronin. And what makes this introduction to this story so cool is that we see Ronin just beating up on a bunch of random people looking for some kind of information about something. We just don't know what this person is looking for. That is when we jump over to the day before, where we pick up with Steve Rogers meeting up with Matt Murdock. Now remember, when it came to Volume 1 of the New Avengers, Daredevil was there with the rest of the New Avengers when the Raft breakout was going on. The Raft breakout was when 42 supervillains broke out of the Raft super prison. But after the breakout, all of the heroes who were there formed the New Avengers. But Daredevil was the only person who did not join the Avengers. Now, the reason why Steve Rogers is meeting up with Matt Murdock is not just ask him once again to join the Avengers, but also information on the Silver Samurai. Now, the Silver Samurai has gotten around in the Marvel Universe. He fought a few different good guys, but he first appeared in Daredevil number 111 in the year 1974. And so with Matt Murdock being only one of the few people who fought against him, Steve Rogers is looking for information on him, because he was one of the 42 supervillains that broke out of the Raft. The problem is, though, he got on a plane that Steve Rogers believes that belongs to the Hand organization, which is something else Daredevil is well known fighting against as well. But the thing is, Steve Rogers wants Matt Murdock to join the team because he knows so much about these topics. But Matt Murdock once again says no, because what is going on right now in his private life. But he does tell Steve Rogers he knows somebody else who can help him. Of course, the person that Daredevil is talking about is Ronin. The question is, though, who is Ronin? But we pick up with the Ronin character in Japan right now, sneaking into the home of the Silver Samurai, trying to gather more information on the Silver Samurai and what is his next move with him returning back to Japan. That is when you have Madam Hydra appear out of nowhere, which is huge because she is the leader of Hydra, or she was at this point in Marvel Comics. But she walks up and kisses the Silver Samurai on the mouth to show some form of affection between them. Before Ronin is able to do anything else, that is when Ronin gets jumped from behind by a few members of the Hand, which does make Ronin run all the way back to the home that Iron Man has in Japan. And that is where you have Ronin warn the Avengers the Hand is coming. And that is when you have the Avengers fight against the Hand organization. With the second chapter of this story, we do pick up with the Silver Samurai and also Madam Hydra. Now again, These two have history with one another, but she is trying to reform their alliance once again. She tells the Silver Samurai that S.H.I.E.L.D. is falling apart from the inside, but so is Hydra as well. Remember, back in Volume 1 of the New Avengers, the Avengers found a rogue group of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in the Savage Land. And this is Madam Hydra confirming that something is wrong with S.H.I.E.L.D. But right now you have the leader of the Hand and Madam Hydra trying to combine their forces with the Silver Samurai. Because if these groups get together, well then it is over for a lot of their opponents in the world. But you have the Silver Samurai ask the question, why was he taken to the raft in the first place? Like, how did he get there? And you have Madam Hydra tell Silver Samurai that he wasn't arrested for a crime, he was actually being held against his will, because S.H.I.E.L.D. was looking for a way to use him against their foes. That is when we jump back over to the Avengers fighting against a group of ninjas from the Hand organization, which the fight does last for a few pages. But the big thing about this certain scene was what happened after the fight. Because you had the ninjas from the Hand run off when they were kind of winning the battle against the Avengers. But you have Ronin say someone called them off. The question is, why though? But you then have Jessica Drew fly over Japan trying to find a clue. But that is when she runs into Madam Hydra. And this is where we find out that basically Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman, is actually working with Hydra. Now this is Brian Michael Bendis once again reminding us about Volume 1 of the New Avengers. Back when we covered Volume 1 of the New Avengers, when Steve Rogers had called a meeting so that he could form the New Avengers, Jessica Drew was the last person to arrive at that meeting. But while she was walking up to the building, she got a phone call from someone, which we find out was Madam Hydra, because you have Madam Hydra say they had a deal. The deal was that Madam Hydra will give Jessica Drew her powers back, but for her getting her powers back, she had to feed Hydra information about S.H.I.E.L.D. The problem is though, before Spider-Woman is able to explain why she's in Japan with the Avengers but did not warn Madam Hydra that they were here, the Avengers are right behind Spider-Woman. And to keep her covered from being blown, Spider-Woman knocks out Madam Hydra and tells the Avengers that she was able to capture Madam Hydra for them. But right after she tells the Avengers, that is when you have the Silver Samurai walk out looking like he is ready to do battle. Now, with the final chapter of this story, you have Brian Michael Bendis kind of wind things down for us a little bit. Because you would think we would see some form of battle here between the Silver Samurai and the Avengers, but we don't. Instead, we have the Silver Samurai tell the Avengers that he is actually innocent. The reason why he says that is because he tells the Avengers he was on a plane to go to a different location. The problem is, while he was on this other plane, something must have been in his drink, because when he woke up, he was in a prison cell in the raft. And then after he woke up in the raft, that was when the breakout started to happen, when all the supervillains were breaking out of the raft. But the Silver Samurai says as soon as the breakout was happening, members from the Hand brought him here to Japan. Now you have Luke Cage speak up for the Avengers, and he is saying that they should just go ahead and arrest this man because he is a criminal. But you had a Silver Samurai remind Luke Cage that he was taken without a legal reason. He was held against his will. But Captain America reminds Luke Cage that something evil is going on inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. has been doing some sketchy things in the last couple months. This man is technically an innocent man because, well, he did nothing wrong at all. Now, we do jump over to the Avengers traveling back home from Japan with Madam Hydra in the back of the jet all tied up. This is where things kind of fell apart for Spider-Woman. The reason why I say that is because Madam Hydra told Spider-Woman to take her in to keep her cover from getting blown. But she has to let her go, but make it look like that Madam Hydra escaped because she has something up her sleeve. Well, Spider-Woman just opens up the emergency door on the jet where Madam Hydra is able to get away. But she does it in a way where it doesn't seem like she was actually innocent. And so we do jump back over to the Avengers Tower. Now we pick up where you have everyone finally asking who in the world is Ronin. And that is when we come to find out who the person is. The person behind the mask is Maya Lopez, aka Ecco. Now, Ecco is this character who was a love interest for Daredevil back in Volume 2, issue number 9. But also to point out that she used to work for the Kingpin until Daredevil was able to turn her back to the side of good. But to wrap up this video, after finding out who in the world is Ronin, we once again pick up with Steve Rogers talking to Jessica Drew. And you have Steve Rogers ask Jessica Drew, who is she working for? Meaning that Steve Rogers knows that Spider-Woman, aka Jessica Drew, is actually a traitor. And guys, this is where we are going to end today's video. And so guys, please leave me a like down below and also subscribe for more comic book videos in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'm out of here and I'll see you in the next comic book video. Later guys.